Checking out our health headlines.
Yes, we have tips on taking care of your throat as we transition into fall, how to reduce the risk of ear and sinus infections, and safe ways to equalize your ear pressure when you're flying.
Joining us this morning, Dr. Michael Weinstock, pediatric ENT specialist at Yale Medicine and assistant professor at Yale School of Medicine. Doctor, great having you with us this morning. We appreciate you. Let's start out with this. How can we protect our throats, vocal cords during this change of seasons as we move from summer into fall?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are three big changes that happen as we have a change in the seasons. One is a change to the moisture content in the air. And so as we get into fall and into winter, it's drier air and drier air that we use in our houses and our homes to heat. So maintaining that moisture in your throat and drinking a lot of fluids, some basic stuff there is really important there. Second big change is to the allergies that we come in contact with. And so as we change from summer into fall, fall into winter, winter into spring, you're coming in contact with different types of allergens. And some people might be allergic to grasses in the summer and not allergic to anything in the fall. And some people might not be allergic to grasses in the summer, but they might be allergic to the ragweeds that you come into contact with more in the fall. And so being on the lookout for some of those symptoms of allergies, like itchy, watery eyes and sniffles when you're not too sick. And if you do have allergies, treating that with topical nasal spray. And the last part of the equation, the change in the heat content. And so as we go from summer into fall and fall into winter, it actually helps that we are less dehydrated. And so that might be a benefit to your voice. Bottom line, being on top of your allergies and staying hydrated is really key there.
Yeah, and I know some people are just prone to getting infections, the ear or the sinus infections. What can people do to reduce it getting to that level?
So if you're starting to feel the sniffles a little bit, my best recommendation is not a medication at all. It is something called a sinus rinse. This is something that has been used by humans for thousands of years, believe it or not, starting in South Asia back when we were starting to do some yoga practices there. It has been adopted into more Western cultures and has been proven scientifically to help with sinus infections. It's a sinus rinse. You can do it once a day. You can do it twice a day. You can bring it to work, do it 3 times a day if you want. It is just salt water that you're squirting up one nostril and down the other side. And that is very, very helpful.
Doctor, for anybody planning to travel in the coming months, what are some of the safe ways to deal with that issue when you're flying, when you have the ear pressure that kids and adults face that's so uncomfortable, especially when you're landing? What do you do to deal with that?
Yeah, so for little kids, so I treat mostly small children, but also older children and adults. For small children that are still bottle or breastfeeding, feeding, if you can, on that descent, so it's going to be bottle feeding because you're in a seat, is really important. And this is probably the only time your doctor is going to prescribe candy, but having a chewy candy for older kids and adults really, really helpful as you are descending and taking off there.
Great. Wow, that is really interesting. The candy. People are going to hear that at home and be like, see? Dr. Michael Weinstock, thank you so much for joining us. Really interesting, and we are getting into that season. So thank you so much for your time today and your tips.
You're welcome. Take care.